Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith are slamming a new rumor.
Will Smith is speaking out about his 7-year separation.
Give us our inspiration on like how to make a life partnership.
Different kind of entanglement.
An entanglement?
Yes.
He left me. And I know that's not true. And it's a very selfish way to think about it, but I really did believe that he was going to be here for the long run. The long run, long run, long run, long run.
Yeah. Uh-oh, Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
One thing people were really still concerned about or confused about really was, okay, hang on. They've been divorced in theory, but not on paper.
Yes.
They were not together, but kind of pretended they were together. So I had trouble articulating exactly why that was. So now that you've had more time.
Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, they were the epiphany of the dream Hollywood couple that everybody admired and mostly everybody wanted to be like. From Will Smith's squeaky clean image to Jada being a perfect companion, it was almost like they couldn't do anything wrong. Will Smith was on his way, and in my opinion still on his way to being one of the top actors of all time. Willard Carroll Smith II was born on September 25th, 1968 in Philadelphia. His mom, Caroline, was a school board administrator. His father, Willard Carroll Smith Sr., was a U.S. Air Force veteran and refrigerator engineer. We all know the theme song, in West Philadelphia, born and raised. Will Smith's first love was music, rapping. He began rapping at the age of 12. His grandmother is a big influence to why he doesn't use profanity in his music. Jada Corinne Pinkett, born in Baltimore. She was named after her mother's favorite soap opera actress, Jada Rowland. Her mom, Adrienne, was the head nurse of a Baltimore inner-city clinic, and her dad, Rob So Pinkett Jr., ran a construction company. Will Smith linked up with DJ Jazzy Jeff and renamed himself the Fresh Prince. They began producing music, but steered clear of the gangster rap sound that was emerging from the West Coast by groups like NWA. The Fresh Prince rapped about teenage problems and solutions in a clean, curse-free style that middle America found safe and entertaining.
Listen, homeboys, don't mean to bust your bubble, but girls of the world ain't nothing but trouble.
DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince's first single was Girls Ain't Nothing But Trouble, a hit in 1986. Their debut album, 1987's Rock the House, made Will Smith a millionaire before the age of 18. Jada began her acting career in 1990 when she starred in an episode of True Colors. She received guest roles in television shows such as Doogie Howser MD in 1991 and 21 Jump Street also in 1991. She even earned a role on Bill Cosby's sitcom A Different World in 1991 as a college freshman named Lena James. We all know about Jada going to the Baltimore School for the Arts in high school and meeting up with future legendary rapper Tupac Shakur. The two would spark rumors for years to come, with so many people intrigued and wondering what was the basis of her and Tupac's relationship. There are still mumblings and rumblings almost 30 years after Tupac's death, and Jada still clearly hasn't gotten over it.
Sorry. He was, I mean, it was beyond friendship for us, you know, as far as just, it was really difficult to explain because the type of relationship we had, you only get that once in a lifetime, so
Was my favorite episode. Maybe it was the one that Kadeem directed. The one with Pac. Yeah.
Piccolo.
L to the J. What's happening, baby?
As soon as he approached me, he was like a magnet. It was like once you paid attention to him, he kind of sucked you in. And we hit it off from that moment on.
Definitely had this beautiful closeness that was really intimate, but never physically.
A lot of people, talk about my relationship with Pac and trying to figure that out, and that was a huge loss in my life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because he was one of those people that I expected to be here. And my upset is more anger.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I feel that he left me. And I know that's not true. And it's a very selfish way to think about it, but I really did believe that he was going to be here for the long run.
I heard it in the chatter among my family.
Okay.
That several people was putting together money to get Pac out.
Right.
Madonna was one, and Jada was the other.
From your knowledge, from your cousin, conversating with him, did Tupac ever express to you that him and Jada was intimately involved?
No.
Okay.
But he loved her. I know that. He never said they had sex, but he never said they didn't have sex.
Okay.
So they were intimate. He never said they were or weren't. I didn't know whether they were or weren't. That wasn't part of the conversation. The part of the conversation with Tupac and I was about him wanting to marry Jada while he was in prison.
So Tupac told you that he wanted to marry Jada Pinkett while he was in prison?
Yeah, very clearly. He was clear about that.
Right.
He wanted to marry Jada.
When he asked me to get married, he was at Rikers. And I knew at that time that he needed somebody to do time with him. Because I promise you, he would have married me and divorced me as soon as his ass left jail. He would have.
Right.
I'd be real with it.
Right. Because so many people in that position don't have support.
Right.
None at all.
None.
And you got the best.
Right. He was just like, look. And I just think it was the mind state that he was in. He wrote me this long letter.
Will and Jada met in 1994 on the set of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when she was auditioning for the role as his girlfriend. That role will later be given to Nia Long. At the time, Will Smith was married to Cherie Zampino and also having a son, Trey. The couple were married December 31st, 1997. Will Smith's acting career has far surpassed his musical career. His first time on TV was on an ABC after-school special, playing a character named Hawker. And we all know about The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. No need to even go into that. It's a show that I watch. This show will forever be a classic and favorite of mine to many people. It's a show that I still watch when it comes on and I'm bored. But the show also did something else for Will Smith. It let us know that he could act. Will Smith made his film debut in the movie Where the Day Takes You in 1992, an American drama film directed by Mark Rocco. In this movie, it follows a group of teenage runaways trying to survive on the streets of LA. The film was released on September 11th, 1992. Now, Will Smith will go on to be in about 3 more movies before he hit the jackpot. You see, at this time, when it came to actors, especially black actors, there were 2 names, Denzel Washington and Wesley Snipes. Now, the movie Bad Boys, which was a colossal hit for Will Smith, but the next film, Independence Day, definitely did it. Will Smith joined the elite group of actors that made at least $1 million per film. You think about $1 million per film right now, and you're like, even though most of us don't have a $1 million, $1 million's like, whatever. But don't forget, this was in the 90s. After Independence Day, Will Smith was a household name. And of course, the next movie after that kept him in the alien genre, Men in Black. With Bad Boys coming out in 1995, Independence Day 1996, and Men in Black in 97, Will Smith had 3 straight years of 3 box office smashes. Will Smith was in high demand. Of course, you're not going to hit a home run every time you fake a movie. Wild Wild West is not only not a home run, it's not even a hit. As a matter of fact, it's a strikeout. Many have called Wild Wild West just flat out boring. No action, with build-ups that lead nowhere. Some people enjoyed this movie, but as far as Hollywood goes and return on your investment goes, this was a certified flop, earning numerous awards in categories such as Worst Movie of the Year and Worst Western of All Time. Jada made her film debut 1 year after Will in 1993 with the cult classic Menace to Society. This movie was also starring Tupac Shakur originally, but he was fired after a disagreement with the director. Later on, it would be confirmed that Tupac almost had a scuffle with the Hughes brothers who directed Menace to Society. Jada, being loyal to Tupac, wanted to turn the role down, but Tupac eventually to stay. What put Jada on the map wasn't the Inkwell or Jason's Lyric. Of course, these movies were good movies, but these movies were only popping in Black American homes. The Nutty Professor did just that, coming out in 1996 starring the great Eddie Murphy. 1996 was a great year for Jada Pinkett, as she also released and starred in Set It Off. Jada and Will were now the it couple, and of course, a couple years later, getting married and giving birth to their first child, Jaden, they were everywhere. They were the envy of everybody who seeked to have a beautiful, wholesome relationship. Now, there are a lot of actors and actresses that are part of huge franchises. Not that many can say they're a part of 2 huge franchises. Will Smith has 2 great franchises underneath his belt in Bad Boys and the Men in Black series. And in Jada, she's in the Matrix franchise, being in 3 films. They were even in Ali together. Some will wonder why they aren't in more movies together. Will has shared the screen with Jaden twice, and even Willow was in a movie, I Am Legend. In an interview later on, Jada Pinkett would reveal that she never intended to marry anyone. But in November 1997, when Smith proposed to her, she accepted it before finding out the very next day that she was pregnant with their first child together. This is the first red flag in their relationship, Jada not wanting to be married. I definitely believe that, because remember what she said to Tupac when he asked her to marry him. Jada is still crying over Tupac to this very day. So if she didn't marry him, you better believe she didn't want to get married to anybody. But it looks like she did the classic thing. She's pregnant, so she married Will. Jada was also reported for saying, "My first trimester was horrible. I was so upset that I have to have a wedding. I was so pissed. I went crying down a freaking aisle getting married." Now it sounds to me like not only does she not want to get married, she didn't want to have kids neither. When you're young and getting to know a person, you have to look out for these red flags. They both were adults, and Will was previously already married, so he should have known better. In 2011, tabloids picked up on this stuff and began whispering about a potential split between the couple. Now, there have always been rumors in the 2000s about Will and Jada having an open relationship. I heard this back in the 2000s when I was in high school, when I didn't even really care, but I always heard that, and I was like, shoot, it's the life I want to live. Jada was rumored to have an affair with Mark Anthony, who at the time was Jennifer Lopez's husband. You see, the two have starred as love interests in the medical drama Hawthorne from 2009 to 2011. I mean, just because they're love interest doesn't mean they have to be having an affair. I never watched the TV show, but they must have had some chemistry going on. Now, there were other reasons why people assumed this. Will Smith will later reveal in a memoir that was put out in 2021 that at the time of 2011, they weren't exactly solid as a couple and their marriage was a little rocky. He's quoted as saying the marriage simply wasn't working and we could no longer pretend. We both were miserable and clearly something had to change. During an appearance on HuffPost Live in April 2013, Jada was quoted saying, "I've always told Will, you can do whatever you want as long as you can look at yourself in the mirror and be okay. Because at the end of the day, Will is his own man. I'm here as his partner, but he is his own man." Now, that's not really confirming the swinger rumors and separation rumors, but it's not saying they not separated and being swingers. So at this point, they were clearly separated, and Will and Jada were both probably doing their own thing. Jada, feeling the heat from people just pressing and pressing about their relationship, will be quoted again, saying, "I am addressing this issue because a very important subject has been born from discussions about my statement that may be worthy of addressing." Now, I don't know what the hell that means, but she later clarified and said this: "Here is how I will change my statement. Will and I both can do whatever we want because we trust each other to do so. This does not mean we have an open relationship. This means we have a grown one." Now, if that ain't open relationship talk, then I don't know what is. In my opinion, that more than confirms the open relationship. In 2013, Will Smith shot a movie with Margot Robbie, and of course, rumors began to swirl about that. And especially the highlight was Will Smith at the time was 45 and she was 23. Now, when your wife's going around saying all this open statement like stuff, and then we see the chemistry with her and other men and the chemistry between you and other women, it's safe for people to assume that you guys are in an open relationship. Of course, these were all denied, and in August 2015, Will Smith had enough and said this, I quote, "Under normal circumstances, I don't usually respond to foolishness, but so many people have extended me their deepest condolences that I figured, what the hell, I can be foolish too. So in the interest of redundant, repetitious, over and over againness, Jada and I are not getting a divorce," with a smiley face. "I promise you all, if I ever decide to divorce my queen, I'll swear I'll tell you myself." And Jada went on, I believe, Twitter, and she simply wrote, "My king has spoken." At this point, it's almost like they're playing around with the media and the fans. Now, it's nobody's business what they do, of course, but they did nothing to help the rumors. And then with all that being said, in 2016, Will Smith and Jada Smith quietly separated. This became public knowledge in 2023 because Jada was going around the world doing interviews to promote her book. Jada also revealed that it was separated for almost 6 years. She's quoted with saying, "We were just exhausted with trying. I think we were still both kind of stuck in our fantasy of what we thought the other person should be." In July 2017, Jada will once again come to the defense of their relationship, saying, "I heard the craziest rumor," and quote, "That's the craziest one. It's constant." And I'm like, yo, I wish. I know Jada was trying to be sarcastic with saying "I wish," but come on. Everybody and their mother pretty much knew that you guys were separated, yet you guys tried to hide it. So if you guys just came out and said you were separated, then nobody would have called you swingers. The fact that everybody believed you were still happily married but see you guys doing other things with other people, that makes people think that you guys are swingers. It's not hard for people to assume that. Just notice that most of these statements are being made by Jada, but Will Smith said something in 2018 to Rap Radar. He quoted saying, "We refer to ourselves as life partners, where you get into that space where you realize you are literally with somebody for the rest of your life," he explained. "There's no deal breakers. There's nothing she could do ever, nothing that would break our relationship. She has my support till death, and it feels so good to get that space." Once again, to me, this is just speaking in riddles again. And this is more than confirming the already obvious. In 2021, Will Smith detailed his relationship and called it less than conventional. He was quoted with saying, "Jada never believed in conventional marriage. Jada had family members that had an unconventional relationship. So she grew up in a way that was very different than how I grew up. What is the perfect way to interact as a couple? And for the large part of our relationship, monogamy was what we chose, not thinking of monogamy as the only relational perfection." Once again, like I said, it's nobody's business what these people do, but these foolish statements that they made and continue to make just fed the craze that people had for Will and Jada. And in my opinion, I think some of it was planned to keep them in pop culture. Will Smith also added, "We have given each other trust and freedom with the belief that everybody has to find their own way, and marriage for us can't be a prison. And I don't suggest our road for anybody. I don't suggest this road for anybody. But the experiences, that the freedoms that we've given one another, and the unconditional support to me is the highest definition of love." This is just explaining why they do what they do, once again, which they don't have to do. I wouldn't have said nothing. The Red Table Talk. It aired from May 7th, 2018 to December 19th, 2022. This was a kind of a TV show that was on Facebook. And I think it's genius on Jada's part, and I like where it was going as far as the opinion from 3 different generations. I think that was excellent. And Jada couldn't wait to talk about Tupac. The second episode, she talked about Tupac. And 2 months later, the man she calls a dear family friend was brought onto set, August Alsina. Jada had first met August Alsina in 2015 when Jada Smith performed with him. Within 3 years, when he appeared on the Red Table Talk, they were very familiar, and Jada was now calling him her dear family friend. The whole August Alsina thing I know we're all familiar with, but this also confirms that Jada Pinkett, I'm not gonna call her a liar, but she stretches the truth a little bit and she doesn't reveal everything. And my thing is this: no one has the right to know all your business, but if you're gonna tell people stuff, don't insult their intelligence. The whole August Alsina thing confirmed it for me and plenty of other people that they have been in an open relationship and they have been doing what they wanted to do. Will has just done a better job at hiding it and keeping it a secret with his flings that have been rumored to be not only women but men. I don't know who to believe when August Alsina says that he met with Will, but of course Jada and Will didn't necessarily deny that. Now, around this time, the Michael Jordan crying meme was still the top crying meme. Will Smith took that and destroyed it. And Will Smith's not even really crying in the meme. He just has an extremely sad face, looks unshaven, his beard's not lined up, you see the gray hair. He's looking pretty much defeated. And that meme has overtaken the Jordan crying meme. August Alsina, who's a great singer, his first 2 albums, great albums, a couple of his mixtapes, great mixtapes, The Product and all that. But by this time, August Alsina's musical career was starting to fizzle out. And of course, he took the opportunity to try to get a bag and made that Entanglement song. And we still don't know what entanglement is, but a lot of people have a pretty good idea of it because of Jada. People have described this as the slap heard around the world numerous times. I call it fronting for TV. Many speculated it was staged, they were in on it, maybe it was a part of the show, maybe Will just wanted to boost his popularity again. I think it was this. You see, when you're an actor for all those years, talking over 30 years, playing different personalities over and over and over again, I believe most actors, if they don't already, should get some kind of therapy. Not only was Will Smith, I believe, one of them, playing all these different roles and characters, he had to deal with the whole Tupac thing, and his daughter even giving a letter to her mom about Tupac. And I think in that moment, he may have been drinking a little bit, and Chris Rock made those jokes, and he looked up at that stage and saw that skinny man that he weighs probably double then, talking crap about his wife, and he said, what would Tupac do? And Will Smith said to himself, Tupac will probably do this, and the rest is history. And of course, I think after Will slapped him and went back to his seat and shouted out those gestures and shouted out that profanity, after that, I think he realized, what the did I just do? You know, Will and Jada have boycotted the Oscars in the past, so I don't really think them now banning him for 10 years. I don't think Will Smith really cares, and he shouldn't care. We all know Will should have handled this matter differently. Maybe he should have just shouted from the crowd, not walk on stage. And the apology, I think, is crap too. He should have went to that man's house privately and apologized to him instead of putting it on his YouTube channel. I don't know how close friends Will Smith and Chris Rock were, but that's not how you apologize. As for Chris Rock, a joke is a joke, and that simply was a part of Chris Rock's act and a joke. In the last couple of weeks, Jada has been quoted with saying, I'm going to be by his side, but also allow him to have to figure out for himself. We're still figuring it out. We've been doing some really heavy duty work together. We just got deep love for each other, and we are going to figure out what that looks like for us. Hey, however they want to handle their business with their relationship, I agree with them. I want them to do it. I want them to succeed. Throughout their relationship, Will's been chasing her from the jump. He's even admitted to having eyes for her on a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air set when he was currently married. He's always chased her. And then not only has he chased her, he's been competing literally with a ghost. In Will Smith's head, I know he knows that he's not her number one choice, and he probably never will be. He's always bowed down to her. Even he says after this book has been released, Jada's more resilient, clever, and compassionate than I'd ever thought. He's just praising her, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's not mutual. I don't believe so. Jada has also revealed that they will be together forever. This is what I think. Will and Jada should just tell the people what it is, and then people will stop asking, and it will all die out, and then nobody will care anymore. The fact that they live in secrecy about everything is the reason why people won't stop asking. People don't get enough of it. When you're a public figure, this is what you ask for, and this is what you get. But if you made it to the end of this video, I deeply, deeply appreciate you. Subscribe and like the video. It helps the algorithm, it helps spread my message more, and it helps me make more quality videos like the one you just watched. Also, let me know in the comments, do you think Will and Jada's relationship is over, or it's going to remain on the life support that it is? Let me know in the comments. I appreciate all my viewers for everything that you do. KJ Media 100, I'm out.
We ride together.
We die together.
Bad marriage for life.